It was a crazy round of finals footy, with upsets left and right. Richmond probably started off favourites, but now the flag could be anyone's. So today I'm going to try to make sense of this round, see where it leaves the remaining teams, and determine who I think will win the flag from here. It could be Richmond, who won it last year, Brisbane, who have the home grand final locked in, or could it be Port Adelaide, who have sat on top all year, or even Geelong with all their experience. You can't write off St Kilda, they've been playing some great footy, and also Collingwood, winning in the West. So firstly, if you enjoyed the intro, please comment, tell me if I should keep it or not, and also subscribe for how many tips I got wrong this week. So I'm expecting 4 new subscribers. Alright, so anyway, let's get started. So what I'm going to do is go through every game, say what the result means for each team, and then in the end, I'll bring it all together and hopefully do some more accurate predictions than last time. So the first game, Port Adelaide vs Geelong. So Port ended up winning by 16 points. So they definitely applied some good pressure and had some really nice tackling, which made Geelong panic and made a lot of errors, which definitely cost them the game. Port Adelaide also had a really strong defence and didn't allow Geelong to get forward, especially in the third quarter, where Hartlett was huge, taking, I think, 4 intercept marks. Geelong, on the other hand, definitely had a few opportunities, but seemed to choke under the pressure, with Hawkins scoring 0 goals 5. Geelong just seems to be performing really badly in finals. I don't know if the pressure's getting to them, but it's definitely a problem with them winning only 4 of their last 16 finals since the 2011 Premiership. So what does this mean for both teams? Well, for Port Adelaide, I'd say it definitely gives them a really good chance with a home prelim leading into the grand final. So I'd say the odds are that Port Adelaide will make the grand final, but they'll probably have to go past Richmond if Richmond beat St Kilda, and also Richmond will have Lynch back. So it's definitely going to be difficult, but I think they're definitely in good shape to make the grand final. The Cats, on the other hand, they might win against Collingwood, but after that, definitely they'll probably lose to Brisbane. That's a home game for Brisbane in the prelim, and that's even if they win to Collingwood. So I'd definitely write Geelong off now. Definitely them not performing in finals, and now their draw is just really hard. So anyway, we'll go on to the next game. So Brisbane versus Richmond. Brisbane broke a really big drought against Richmond and reached their first prelim since 2004 as a result of their 15-point win. They were very good on the ground inside 50, crumbing a lot of goals, and also were great in defence. This was thanks to Harris Andrews, who had 11 spoils, and the next best on the ground was only 4. So he definitely did a huge job. This was really bad for the Tigers, and it wasn't helped by Lynch being out. Richmond also gave away a lot of 50-metre penalties, and definitely weren't at their best. So what does this mean for both teams? Well, for Brisbane, I would almost call them favourites now. Their next game will be a prelim at home against Geelong and Collingwood, which I would definitely say is the easier side of the draw. And then if they win that, which is very probable, their grand final will be at home as well. Whereas for Richmond, they're not looking as good as they did at the start of the round. They'll have to play more games, obviously, not reaching the prelim straight away. And they'll have to verse St Kilda, which should be a decently easy match because Ryder is out. But definitely you can't predict anything. Like, say, I've got 4 of the 4 tips incorrect this week. So definitely anything could happen. And then obviously Richmond have to go up against Port Adelaide at home, which, as we saw earlier this year, is definitely not going to be easy, and they'll probably lose that. So on to the next game. So next game, St Kilda versus Western Bulldogs. So St Kilda Won by 3 points. But they did survive like the last quarter where the Bulldogs scored 4 goals to one. But actually the Dogs could have definitely scored more and made it, and possibly even won, but they were really inaccurate in that last quarter, even though they were dominating most of the stats. So Geary stood up for St Kilda and kicked a few goals and got a few contested marks, as well as stopping Daniel's impact on the game. St Kilda also dominated with their big men, taking 21 to 13 contested marks, and also getting 31 to 9 hitouts, which was definitely really good for them, and gave them a lot more clearances and stuff. But the bad thing about that is, though, Ryder was injured at the end of the game, so won't be able to play next week. So what this means for both teams. So the Dogs haven't won a final since 2016 and only beat one top 8 team this year. So it's not looking too good for them. Obviously, they're out of the finals. I think they will still scrape in next year, but I'm not sure if they're going to win a premiership anytime soon. So for St Kilda, obviously they verse Richmond next week. Honestly, I think they'll probably lose with Ryder out and Tom Lynch likely to come in. But you never know. They played some really good footy, and they beat Richmond by a fair bit last time. So anything could happen, really. So the next game, West Coast versus Collingwood. Everyone had basically written Collingwood off. It's so hard to beat the West Coast at home, and Collingwood had just been looking really bad all season. Well, not all season, but most of the season. But they did really well and got their highest score since round 3, so that's really good. But they were also really good in defence as well, hardly letting the Eagles score at all, apart from a few times in the middle where they had Cameron in the ruck instead of Grundy for some reason. I'm not sure if Grundy has an injury, but I think he spent like 60 something percent time on ground instead of the usual 80 something percent. So yeah, I think Cox was really good in the first quarter, which definitely helped out Collingwood. But so where are the teams now? So I think West Coast, obviously they kicked out of the finals. It's been actually a pretty poor season for them, but I wouldn't be concerned too much because I think it's mostly due to they didn't perform well in the hubs. In Gold Coast Hub, I think their first 3 games were just really horrible. But obviously that shouldn't be the case next year, and I think they can bounce back and definitely make top 4. Collingwood, on the other hand, have to go and play Geelong. Definitely probably the best team to take on at this stage, with Geelong playing so poorly last game. And I actually think Collingwood can win. They've actually have a lot of good players in like Treloar, Adams, and Cox actually performed really well. And Geelong have just been losing so many finals, and I'll actually tip Collingwood in like really big upset there. But then obviously after that, Collingwood are going to have to play Brisbane in Brisbane, which obviously there's no way they're going to win that. So anyway, let's get on to the predictions. Okay, now on to the part that we've all been waiting for, the predictions. So obviously this probably won't be correct considering I got 0 out of 4 last week, but I've definitely done a lot of work looking into every game, so hopefully these are correct. So first off, we have Geelong vs Collingwood. This will be a really close game, I think, but I just think Collingwood winning in the West, I think they're the first team to do that in finals since the Western Bulldogs did it, and after that they won a premiership. So I think that definitely shows some really good form, and Geelong's form was just horrible. They really choked against Port, and yeah, I think Collingwood can scrape over the line. And then, so the next game will be Richmond vs St Kilda. I think Ryder is a really big injury to St Kilda, and Tom Lynch is a very big in for Richmond. And they could be definitely some main reasons why Richmond will win. And I also think Richmond are just overall a better team. Like they've been in finals like a lot of times before in recent times, and St Kilda haven't. And yeah, I just think they should get over the line. Okay, so the round after that, it will be Port versus Richmond, and I think this will be a really close game. If probably if I wasn't a Richmond supporter, I probably would have tipped Port, but I just think Richmond get over the line. I don't know. Basically, everything points towards Port. They thrashed Richmond last time, and they did really well against Geelong. But I just have a feeling about Richmond. I think they're going to play really well. And then Collingwood versus Brisbane. I think this is a pretty easy tip. Brisbane should win pretty easily at their home ground. Looked so good against Richmond. Yeah. So that leaves us with um, a Richmond Brisbane grand final. So again, if I wasn't biased, I'd probably tip Brisbane, but I think Richmond will win. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed the video.